Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Jos de Hoey. I am a member of the board for WorldSkills International. I'm also representing the Netherlands at this competition. Your Excellencies, invited guests, it is my privilege and honor to welcome you at this WorldSkills Leaders Forum 2013, which is brought to you by WorldSkills International and its global industry partners, and it's the premier networking event during a WorldSkills competition. With leaders from government, industry, and education from all around the world, we want to address, during this WorldSkills Leaders Forum, global skills issues. This year we are thrilled to say that we have two renowned speakers who came from the other side of the world to contribute to this 42nd WorldSkills competition. So a warm and extended welcome to Mr. Lula and Mr. Holmes from Brazil and Canada. A big applause for them. Before, however, to invite them on the stage, let's give Mr. Simon Bartley, the President for WorldSkills International, and above all a friend, a warm welcome and the opportunity to express some words. Thank you, Simon.
Ladies and gentlemen, at a skills competition like we have here in Leipzig, it is not often that anybody comes close to the importance of competitors. However, today we have two people who will present to you who come very close in our world to the importance of our competitors here at the competition. And I am delighted that they have come here to share their experiences and their thoughts about skills and how we might encourage the young people of the world to take a look at a vocational education and vocational career, but also to raise the profile of vocational skills so that parents and teachers and industrialists and governments also take seriously the message we are receiving from everywhere that skills are important, indeed are critical to the development of a country, an economy, and to the world. So I wish you all of the best here at this WorldSkills Leaders Forum. I hope that you will take the messages given by President Lula and by Mike Holmes back to your countries, your businesses, your world, and continue to explain the important role of skills education and the important role that WorldSkills plays within it. Thank you very much.
So before getting to the program, I would like to announce also a logistical facility issue. The translation you received on channel 1, we will provide you with German translation, on channel 2 with English, on channel 4 with Portuguese, and channel 5 for Japanese even. And if you have problems with the hearing set, please raise your hand so that we can take care of it, that everyone absolutely can follow what is going to be said in a few minutes. And before, or let's rephrase that, the best way to introduce Mr. Lula is in a Brazilian style. And for this, I would like to ask Mr. Nata Barbosa on the stage. Nata scooped a sensational gold medal in London at the WorldSkills 2011, and he extended his journey recently for a top-class training at ITE in Singapore, which was funded by the WorldSkills Foundation. So Nata, if I can call you on stage, please. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all authorities present. Let me introduce myself to you. I am Natan Barbosa. I'm from Brazil, and I am a product of the amazing discovery of what vocational and professional education is. I was once a student at Senai, which led me to WorldSkills, and they together gave me the chance to perform my best, and the honor to award a gold medal for Brazil at WorldSkills London 2011. Thank you. Thank you. After the competition, I was again given the opportunity to participate on a WorldSkills Foundation project in Singapore for 3 months earlier this year. And here I am today, happy to be part of the WorldSkills family and help at my best. So let's not talk about me anymore. If you excuse me, I will switch to Portuguese now. Eu estou aqui no palco hoje para apresentar a todos vocês um grande líder do meu país, uma pessoa que começou sua jornada na educação profissional, assim como os competidores do WorldSkills, e de seu primeiro emprego, trabalhou duro e se tornou uma figura muito importante da educação e da transformação de nosso país, inspirando a juventude e ajudando a construir o futuro do Brasil. Através de sua determinação e trabalho árduo, ele se tornou a autoridade mais importante do país e hoje um exemplo para todos nós. Eu tenho o prazer e a honra de convidar ao palco o ex-presidente da República Federativa do Brasil, senhor Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Bem-vindo, Lula.
Bem.
Very well. Every time that I am invited to make a speech and that people are sitting around the table waiting for the food to come, I'm a little bit bothered, annoyed with that. My comfort today is that I don't see no tomatoes and no eggs on the table. And so that's why you are not yet the victims of not having to wait for the food yet. Very well. I'd like to greet Simon Botley, who is the chairman of WorldSkills. I also would like to greet my friend Robson Andrade, who is the president of the National Confederation of Industries in Brazil. I also like to greet my colleague Roberto Spada, my colleague from São Paulo. I'd like to greet also the vice president of WorldSkills. I also would like to greet Natan Barbosa, my dear Natan Barbosa, and to say to you, Natan, if during my time I had WorldSkills, who maybe I would have won a bronze medal in those days of my time as so I'm a partner of your gold medal. I'd like to greet the Brazilian ambassador to Germany, Maria Vigliotti. I also like to greet Mr. Michael Holmes, who's a role model of vocational training, and that goes to fix people that I destroy here. Whatever I destroy here, he'll fix it for you. I'd like to greet the Brazilian House representatives. I'm very happy to see many House representatives here, Fátima Bezerra, Jorge Hilton, Roberto Martins, Ronaldo Fonseca, Fábio Ramalho. These are all House representatives of the National Congress, Jorginho de Mello, Senators Ciro Miranda, Senator Tecão, Senator Valadares. I don't know if all of them were at the students of Senai, which is the National Vocational Training School, and there should be a course for the third age. And I'd like to greet all the chairmen of the different federations of industries of the Brazilian states. I also would like to greet the business executives that are attending this meeting from other countries. I'd like to greet our German friends, and I also would like to greet from the bottom of my heart the organizers of this event. I'm a little already emotional and touched because when I entered this pavilion that I started where the competition was already going on, I was imagining how good it would have been if more youngsters and adolescents could be here participating in this competition. Very quickly, so for those that are not acquainted with me, I was a student of the National Vocational Training School for the Manufacturing Industries. And I always say that it was through the SINAI, which is the acronym for this National Industrial Vocational Training School, that I shaped my life and the future of my life. It was the diploma of a lathe operator that made me to find a better job, to work for a better company in a better plant, earn a better salary. And from this course at the vocational training school, due to the fact that I have a better salary and a better job, I could buy things that none of my relatives would have the capacity to buy. And I say this with great pride and with a certain sadness too, because my elder brothers did not manage to due to this course. I was the first son of 8 children to have a house, the first one to have a car, to have a TV set, a refrigerator, and I was the only one that became the president of the Republic of all 8 brothers because I did my vocational training course at Sinai. And so watching those students that were in the competition in the other room during their work and building houses and doing and hairdressing, maybe they won't even follow that profession. Maybe one day they could become presidents of their countries, and we can have many of them, as I did, could occupy important positions not only in the industrial sector but in other sectors very well. The pride that I have about Sinai, the National Vocational Training School in Brazil, that is due to, after Sinai, Robson, it was when I achieved my citizenry as a true citizen in Brazil. Because for those that never needed to look for a job, for those that were already born to having access to higher education, they don't have the slightest idea what it means to have a vocational training school for the poorest people around the world that attend these vocational training schools. They don't know, they don't have the slightest idea what the difference it makes for an adolescent to look for a job without not having the work skills. When we try to look for a job without having any professional skill, we're nobody. Because no one will pay attention to us if we don't have the skills. And when you go to the human resources department in any company, whatever the company may be, looking for a job, and they ask you the first thing, what do you know, what are your skills? What do you know what to do? And you say, oh, no, I don't know how to do anything. I do a little bit of everything. And so, do you have a profession? And you say that you don't have a profession, that job interview, you will not be hired. You're not considered yourself a citizen. You're nobody. You're a John Doe. But as you have a profession, as if you have a skill, then you are valued in any place of the country, and sometimes even in any place in other countries too. You start to be treated with great respect because people know that you know how to do something. And I've been saying Brazil, and mainly to the women, a youngster has learned a skill. And it's very important that you should learn a skill, a profession, even if you want to attend a university, because the profession itself could guarantee that that person can work, earn a better salary, and pay the school, the university, tuition. But I think the skill gives it, not only for the man, but for the woman, it gives the women great independence that makes women a much more better citizen, a stronger citizen, empowered. She becomes a first-rate citizen when she has a professional skill, and she will not rely on her husband's salary to buy things for home. The woman becomes independent, and this is a revolution that has been going on in the majority of the countries where women are now being empowered and are now in important positions. And I'm very happy to have in my country, for the first time, a woman that is the president of Brazil. And so that is something extraordinary that happened in Brazil. All the Brazilians that are here in this meeting know very well that only from 2003 onwards, we transformed innovation as something that should be assumed as a permanent policy for the state or for the government. Innovation was an obligation, and so that's why we made for the industrial policies, that's why we developed industrial policies. The PDP, we did many programs in innovations and technology. The Ministry of Science and Technology started to incorporate and execute new innovation strategies, new business strategies that were linked to innovations, to build a new institution and better networking amongst the agency, regulatory frameworks and legal frameworks to qualify that is more advanced. A program that will focus on the support instruments, decentralization and expansion of scientific research, and so many other things that were done, and with the participation of many business representatives that are here in this meeting. You all know that we in Brazil, we have faced a serious problem. For many years, our economy was stagnated. It was under stagnation. Everybody that's non-Brazilian knows that during, from the 80s to the 90s, we had the 2 decades, the lost decades, which was due to the foreign debt problem and issue in Brazil. So we lost 2 decades, and we didn't make much investment from the private or public search and in research and development. We lacked that investment, but if you go and see a map that was published by the Ministry of Industry, Development and Trade. I'll give you an example of some countries that how much they invest in science technology. Russia, till 2008, it had 0.67% of the GDP of government investment, and only 0.30% of investment in R&D. Brazil had 0.59 coming from government and 0.48 from the private sector investing in science and technology. Spain, let's go to the U.S. It has 0.75% that comes from government investment and 1.7%. And this is all for the year 2008. Japan, to give the highest, has only 0.04 and 2.5% of private investment in R&D. Brazil in 2010 has now reached 1.2% of the GDP for R&D, and 0.55 comes from the private sector. There'll be a little bit more in 2012 from the government and from the private sector by the new science programs launched by the President Dilma Rousseff. This demonstrates that Brazil, after so many years under stagnation, Brazil started to invest again in R&D, which is essential so that Brazil can join this competitive world and could compete under equal conditions with other countries. And there's no other way for you to compete if you do not invest in research and development and in new technologies and to invest in innovation. A program that the Brazilian business men and women with the joint program of 43 billion reais, with the equivalent today more or less of $16.5 billion to invest in science and technology, in private-public partnership, in the agriculture, in the energy, oil and gas, in healthcare, in the airspace complex, and defense, and so many other areas that, together with the President Dilma of Brazil, was decided to invest. So Brazil has a more strong innovation system, better distributed. It has an institutional apparatus that is much more advanced and more faster agencies. Industrial policies have enhanced the effort towards innovation, stimulate strongly the companies, they network institutions, and decentralize action for small and medium-sized enterprises. The new innovation plan for companies is the most advanced format for creating sectoral funds. What are the basic guidelines that we are following? To increase and expedite investment in science and technology, stimulate synergies for innovation of companies, to focus on priority areas and concentrate in strategic projects, and to increase the private investment in R&D and train human capital for the development technology, especially in the engineering field, and to improve tools for financing innovating products. Besides all that, dear colleagues, another small revolution happened in my country, a revolution that I would like to draw your attention to, which is the issue of the restoring the vocational training schools in Brazil that were stagnated till the year 1998. Brazil had built its first vocational training school that was created in 1909 by the President of Brazil, Lula in the city of Rio. That was when we created the first vocational training school. In 1909 till the year 2002, that is, we're talking about almost 1 century, Brazil built or created 140 vocational training schools. Only 140, and possibly due to the importance that I gave to my course, my training course in the vocational training school, and knowing that a skill can guarantee a job for an adolescent in Brazil, I took as my responsibility to build new vocational training schools in Brazil during my term. And I'm very happy that when I ended my term in office, we had built 214 vocational training schools, new schools, which means that we did in 80 years of my 2 terms, 1.5% unfold did what we did in 1 century. We did more than in what we did in 1 century. And now she has committed to build another 108 vocational training schools in Brazil. This is something extraordinary, Robson, because we will go from 140 vocational training schools in 2008 up to 562 vocational training schools in 2014. This is an extraordinary revolution in Brazil. Until 2011, we went from 169,000 students in vocational training schools, and we went up to 330,000 students enrolled in vocational training schools in Brazil. So we still lack a lot, but this is an extraordinary qualitative leap forward, and if God wishes so, we will reach more than 1 million students in a nearby future that will be enrolled in vocational training schools. Besides that, President Dilma Rousseff has launched 2 important courses in Brazil. One is the program Science Without Borders to educate Brazilian students in the best universities abroad. And the idea of to give them scholarships till the year 2015, we should reach 100,000 students abroad. But the fact of the matter is that this is an extraordinary opportunity for us to educate true geniuses for the Brazilian industrial sector and for the development of our country. And besides the Science Without Borders program, she created a new partnership with the vocational training system. She created the Pronatec program. This program has an objective to train till the year 2015 8 million Brazilians should be enrolled in these training courses, from technical courses up to masonry worker. And so we'll have different kinds of courses. We will make vocational training, will follow the growth that happened in Brazil in the last years, because there's many complaints that today there's workforce in Brazil is very expensive. It's very expensive to hire workforce today in Brazil, and the service industry is considered responsible for increase of inflation. So we have much more supply than demand for workforce, and this makes it more expensive. So we lack a skilled workforce, and so the need to train the workforce. We know that when we develop our shipbuilding industry in Brazil, we were lucky to have Brazilians work in Japan, that we brought them back for the shipbuilding industry, because we recovered the shipbuilding industry, because we didn't even have welders anymore in Brazil. Just for you to have an idea, in Brazil we didn't have engineers anymore, railroad engineers, we did not have shipbuilding engineers, and we didn't even manufacture any more things that we did manufacture in the 70s. So vocational training is a need, an urgent need, that is truly necessary, and that you have to have a perfect combination between the Brazilian government or the Brazilian state and the Brazilian business community. And to train more and more skilled people, because more and more people are demanding skilled professional workers. So that's why I had to come here to this meeting, my dear Simon. I had to come to this meeting. For me and Robson, the president of the National Confederation of Industries, I do a lot of advertising on vocational training skills. I don't charge a penny to merchandise and advocate and publicize the vocational training courses, because I know how good it was for me, for my personal life, for my life story. I know the importance of the vocational training course that I attended, and I'm proud to say to every youngster in my country, of Germany, in China, in India, to the youth everywhere, if the youth could enroll to a vocational training course, when you go, if you attend a vocational training school, you will become a first-rate citizen. You will become a citizen that will be able to survive with dignity in any place in the world. So that's why, my dear Simon, thank you very much for your invitation. Thank you for your invitation. And I can reassure you that once again, I will leave here with much more pride than when I arrived. What I saw with your students in the competition was extraordinary, their dedication. They want to earn the gold medal. And when I asked, okay, Nathan, why did you want to participate in the competition? He said, well, first of all, because I was very proud to represent my country, and second, because I wanted to prove that I was very good. And he did both things. He represented well Brazil, and he won the gold medal. Thank you very much, all of you, and God bless you all, the creators of WorldSkills. Congratulations, WorldSkills.